Today we're gonna be finishing up one of the most important and valuable motorcycles that we've ever restored here in the Wheels Through Time restoration shop. I've got the last piece to the puzzle right there in the box. Extremely excited to get to work on this 1936 Harley-Davidson Knucklehead. So I think I probably have 250 or 300 hours in the restoration of this motorcycle. We've tore it all the way down to the frame, refinished every single part, fresh paint, fresh plating. We've rebuilt the brakes, rebuilt the wheels. The engine's completely rebuilt from the ground up. Transmission's redone. This bike, when we finish up, is really gonna be one of the snazziest and most iconic motorcycles that we've ever built here at Wheels Through Time. As much time and effort as we've put into where this motorcycle has gotten today, one thing above all is what attracts people's attention and sets off their emotion, their feeling on the motorcycle, and that is the paint. So early on, all the Harley-Davidsons in the first years of the company were gray, and then from about 1917 all the way through 1932, you could get a Harley in any color you wanted as long as it was green. So about 1929-30, sales are slumping, things are getting as bad as they can get at the Milwaukee Motor Company, and Harley-Davidson started putting their best minds to work on how to sell more motorcycles. What's in my hands right now is one of the coolest pieces of history relating to that kind of transitional period from Harley-Davidson's history, and one of the things that got them back on track as a motor company. So in the early 1930s, Harley-Davidson went to their dealers and said, hey, we're not selling motorcycles, we've got to drum up sales. What we want to do is we want you guys to tell your customers, if you can dream up a paint scheme, if you can dream up a new color, tell us about it, order it. If we can make it happen, we'll do it. So what's in front of me right here is a true piece of that motorcycle history. These are original paint samples from Harley's earliest days painting custom colors and custom schemes on their motorcycles in the 1930s and 40s. What's here is history that you just can't replicate. You can't see this anywhere else. So the story of these paint chips, these all hung on the Harley-Davidson paint shop wall in the 1930s and 40s, and then a factory employee by the name of Harley Charlie Stahl, when these became obsolete, pulled them down off the factory, cataloged them in this Rolodex, and kept it in his private collection for all of those years. In the 1990s, I believe, Charlie passed away, and this was sold at his estate auction. My dad happened to be the lucky guy that bought the Rolodex, and in doing so, not only preserved a piece of motorcycle history, but acquired something that could be utilized in many of our future restorations on motorcycles right here at Wheels Through Time. So going through some of these colors, I mean, totally off the wall stuff and colors we've never even seen before on some motorcycles. So check this, you got this, you know, white with brown, and you got a stripe option. This one right here is one of my favorites. It's red with the orange, and then triple stripe. Actually, you got black, thin gold stripe, medium weight silver. I actually restored a bike. We did some video work on it. Chris and I went racing TT Harleys. We painted the TT Knucklehead, that orange and red, right off of this paint card. So we've used this dozens of times and used it for this year's 2024 raffle bike. Decided to take a scheme right off of the paint cards, and that's what's under the sheet right over here. So you guys at this moment are getting the very first look of what's gonna set this bike apart from every other 36 Knucklehead. So we're gonna be pulling this stuff out in just a second. We've got a lot of work to do left on the bike. One of the last pieces to the puzzle, I've been waiting for this for weeks, is the speedometer for the 36 Harley, restored by John Bordas himself. These speedometers are so incredibly rare. And of course, 1936, 1 year only Speedo. This is one of those parts that's just like a piece of jewelry when you're riding a motorcycle. You know, you got that rider's view, the captain's view. One of the things you're always staring at is that speedometer. From your point of view, it's you see the speedometer more than you see your own paintwork. So having a perfectly restored, perfectly operating, and excellent looking speedometer is crucial for this. So this bike, guys, 1936, took a 1-year only Speedo. Harley Davidson had their speedometers made by the Stuart Warner Company, and this example is special for a couple reasons. It's the first of this era speedometer, that dash mounted Speedo. Early on, they were mounted down on the gas tanks, and they were actually accessories. Every bike didn't even have a speedometer. You had to pay for it extra. This model right here, the 1936 Knucklehead, is the first of those motorcycles where the speedometer came standard. Special dash cluster up front is what we call a skull dash, and in years later it'd be called a cat eye dash. That's named from the cover right over here. You kind of, maybe it's a stretch, but you kind of got that skull look. So this fits right on top of the gauge cluster. You've got a brand new frame, brand new fork. Everything on this model was brand new, including the dash cluster. So you've got this real heavy duty dash base here that we'll be finishing bolting down in just a second. All new key switch, oil gauge, amp gauge, and then that new Stuart Warner Speedo. Now, what makes a 36 Speedo a 36 Speedo and different than all the others is that it's the only 100-mile-an-hour Speedo, okay? And you see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way up to 100 miles an hour in 5-mile-an-hour increments. So that 100-mile-an-hour Speedo was only used in 1936, and I think the reason was because this bike could go faster than 100 miles an hour. So right off the bat, they realized, hey, not enough in 37, and then all the years on, 120-mile-an-hour Speedo. Now, the speedometer also has an odometer up there, but it doesn't have a trip meter. Another one of those 1-year-only features from 36. So, Speedo, last part. We got a really tiny little pile of parts here left on the table. This is all that's left to finish this motorcycle, guys. I mean, we're right there. We've got the dash, toolbox, we got that special 9-bolt horn they only used for a few years, tail light bolts inside of the fender, the rear stand clip, some of the hardware, front fender light, battery lid, chain guard. We're gonna get all this stuff bolted on as soon as we get those fenders mounted. So guys, right now, you're getting the very first look at the sheet metal for the 1936 Harley Davidson Knucklehead. I'm so stoked on how this turned out. Never seen another Harley Davidson like it. There it is, guys. Gold is bold. Chris, what do you think?
I love it, man.
Isn't that insane?
It's an incredible color. It really makes it, like you said, it's gonna make it pop and stand out like nothing we've ever done.
I've never seen a bike with such cool paint. So John Dills, our painter, spent a ton of time matching that gold right up off that Rolodex over there and absolutely nailed the paint. We've got the tanks all fitted out and trimmed. Special 1936 1-year-only fender. We got our gas caps installed, our fuel shutoffs installed. The fenders we're gonna get mounted and dress them out while they're on the bike. So gold is where it's at, guys. This bike is gonna be better than any motorcycle, I think, than we've ever restored here at the museum, and by the time it's finished, worth its weight in gold. So here we go, let's get these installed. Start with a rear fender, Chris. So what we wanna do is take the rear wheel off. We'll get the rear wheel brake disassembled, and we'll slip this rear fender on. It's all kind of finger tight right now, so it ought to come right out. Slide that axle out, I'll get the spacer. Yep, axle out, give that wheel a little wiggle. Yep, wheel. Beautiful. Let me grab a proper fender bolt. This is my tray of bolts over here, okay. Dozens of restoration projects. All the extra parts fall into these trays. If it looks disorganized, it is.
But everything's right where we remember it should be.
Okay, yeah, so the funniest part about this is one time I was out of town and Chris are talking on the phone. I was like, hey dude, actually, could you organize the shop a little bit? And if you guys haven't seen already, I tend to leave this place a total mess. So I come back and Chris has got this whole table sorted and organized. And so we're working on the next bike and I come over here and I look and it's like, I didn't know what to do. It was all organized. So I don't know how many hours you have into that.
I don't know, you know. But hey, whatever works, man. It's like, It's almost a little more fun to do it this way because we always find something that we've needed before when we're looking for the thing that we really need.
All I need is one. These are actually the bolts for the.
See, my point exactly.
See, exactly. Didn't expect to find these in there. Those, and they're Parkerized, freshly Parkerized. Those are the bolts for the Fender loops that hold on the battery tie downs. Yep. Boom, right there. We're gonna rob parts from the 41 again. So, Chris, you're gonna slide this in down low.
Yep.
Nut and lock washer.
Okay.
And with your other two arms, you can slide that. We'll go around your side first there.
Okay.
Oh man, this is fun right here. Okay. Now that's just gonna hold it. We're gonna get all the bolts installed before we actually need two more of those, whatchamacallits. Oh my God, that looks good. Man, those are original though.
You know, if this were organized, it'd be easier.
Debatable. Is there an opposite of OCD? It's no CD?
No CD. Is that one? No,
That's one.
Yeah.
All right. So now, God, it looks good.
It does, man.
Oh my God. Here we go. A couple of these battery tie downs. See, this is what's so cool. One of the really neat things about the 36 Harley, just this genius engineering on the part of William S. Harley. First of the horseshoe oil tanks, you know, this is when they started figuring out how to maximize space, develop clean, sleek lines. You've got your oil tank here underneath the seat. It's a circulating system, but it's not just the oil tank. It actually holds your battery. I mean, this is like standard stuff over the past 50, 60, 70 years. At the time that this was made, this was groundbreaking. I mean, they'd never done anything like this before. Very smart, very forward thinking, something Harley would stick with for, you know, another 60 years. Yes, okay. We're solid there. Okay. Let's go ahead and while we're at it, we'll start wiring this one. Yo, yeah.
Dig it. Maple.
Yeah.
Which bike was it we were doing when we were trying to find the back pieces to this?
It'd have been the 37. And then we found them and broke them. Original Bakelite piece. Gosh, once you get them taillights in there, God, it looks so good. Okay. Yes, sirree. Here we are. Wow, big difference. Okay, fender number 2. Okay. Yep. Okay, rockers coming off. We've already got all of our screws and everything in place, so when this comes apart, we'll slip that fender right in. Get back to business. Number 2. Wow, gosh, I'm telling you, it fits so good. When you put them together beforehand, everything goes back together so much better the second or the third or the final time. There's no substitute for pre-fitment. When you're restoring motorcycles, even something that's been a whole bike at one point in its life, inevitably there's parts that never knew each other. And to mesh all that up and make it line up perfect early makes the work later that much easier. Feel good?
Yep.
All right, Chris. Good deal. Okay, so back to the rockers. Let me squeeze my end in first.
Okay.
All of this stuff only goes together one way. Yeah. This is where it really starts to come together. That's right. Yeah. onto the horn and the front fender light. 9-bolt horn, rare parts, totally rebuilt. I'll go ahead and bolt this deal on the top. So what are we there? Right here. Oh man, that's pretty. Nice. God, this thing is looking good with these fenders on here. One of the neat things to think about with this, is, you know, we've spent months on this bike. At the factory, they were doing dozens of these a day. It's crazy to think about.
When you look at those factory photos, that we have some of those in the archives, it's like, it's just a wonder, it's like seemingly how primitive their equipment was that they were able to produce as many bikes as they were in a single day.
And to such repeating accuracy and perfection, you know, it just goes to show that, you know, they had things down to a science and dialed in back then. It's amazing. Now, back in 1936, they actually didn't use a fender light gasket, but because we want to protect this paint and give that light a little tighter look on the fender, we went ahead and used the gasket. It's got a good look to it. Just makes it look complete and finished. Okay, back. God, it looks so good. Dude, it's, I think this color was 1,000% the right choice.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, and the other cool thing is, like, there's other people out there with 36 knuckleheads, but with this being off that custom Rolodex of colors, there's not gonna be anybody else with this color.
That's right. Here, turn those bars that way. There we go. Real nice. Okay. You ready?
Let's do it.
Gas tanks? Okay. We learned the other day from Dills, we're gonna mount this side first. We're mounting this side first because over on this side, there's some wires that you can potentially pinch. So we wanna make sure that everything doesn't rub anything the wrong way and that everything slides in real nice. You got Speedo cable, you got some general wiring. And then like this up coming up through here, we want to make sure it doesn't interfere underneath the tank, because you pinch something, you short something out, and you get the whole thing together. And
it looks good on this side.
Does it?
Yeah.
Real nice. Did it go in?
Yeah, right there.
Oh yeah, I feel it there.
Oh yeah. Okay, all your wires are still clear. Got good clearance.
Okay.
Everywhere.
Good clearance. Clarence. Wow. It's got the look.
It's got the look.
What do you guys think? It got the look? Does it feel pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, it went together really nice.
Awesome. I love that.
No movement up here at all as you're tightening
No
that?
movement. That's even no stress on the tank tabs is crucial, because that's how you end up breaking stuff from vibration running down the road.
Yeah.
Whoa! Too bad you can't see it.
I was like, everybody's seeing it the other side but me, you know?
All right, go take a look.
Okay.
Go take a look. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Like, I mean, I don't know if there's words, man. It's just, it looks that good.
Everything I thought it would be.
And more.
And more. Okay. I don't want it to be finished.
Now remember, you got to tighten those before you oogle it.
Yeah, I gotta tighten them. I don't really want to finish. It's been a fun bike to build, and you know, when you get done with one, it's kind of bittersweet. Oh, wow, those tanks fit so good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Boom! God dang it, it looks so good. Oh, yes, look at all that chrome.
Oh,
Man. Wow, huge amount of progress today. It is absolutely looking like a motorcycle. What do we got? Chain guard, we've got a couple spark plugs, outer primary cover. We've got the seat coming up. You know, some general wiring connections. We'll hook the horn up, hook the headlight up, screws for the dash, some shifter linkage, rear chain. This thing's gonna be running down the road any day now. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys get tickets on this thing. You can win this bike coming up in November, without a doubt. What do you think? The snazziest?
Oh yeah, hands down.
And probably the most valuable raffle bike that we've ever set out to give away. So 1936 Harley Davidson Knucklehead, the grandfather of the American motorcycle. And another stunning example. Chris, it's been a ton of fun work.
Man, a lot of fun.
We got a few more steps, and we'll be running this thing down the road, ready to give it away in no time.